everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenna if you are new, and today I thought that I would do a video about my new pantry. So if you watched my previous video, you probably know that we just bought a new house, and the house is kind of a ranch style home built in the 70s, and the basement is full basement, but it is unfinished. And I was lucky enough to have a super sweet pantry down here for long-term food storage. But the people that lived here before us, that we just bought the house from, they used it for like a dog kennel area. So they had 2 dogs, and they took out some of the bottom shelves and put kind of a makeshift divider with some plywood, and had a little like half plywood door thing in there. And they removed some of the bottom shelves that you can see behind me. I'll show you the shelves that are in there. So that the dogs could lay on the bottom shelves as like little beds. So I have plans now to paint the cinder block and the cement floor, because I tried scrubbing, and there's still kind of evidence that dogs were kept in there. So I just want it to be really clean in there, and so I just wanted to kind of seal out any remaining dog that could be in there. So I cleaned the floor, I scrubbed the floor with a scuzz brush and some Pine Sol. I didn't not really have anything else to use. And I've got the ceiling and the walls and the shelf on one end vacuumed. I still have to vacuum and dust clean the cobwebs and dust off of this shelf behind me. And then also I have to fix the holes in the cement, mostly on the floor, from where they had screwed in their little divider that they had used for their dogs. So I don't know how big it is, maybe like 4 foot by 10 to 12 foot or so. I haven't measured it. And the ceiling is full height all the way across. I was thinking when we first looked at the house that it was under the stairs, and so the ceiling would be kind of slanted. But it's actually not. It's full height all the way, and there's 2 built-in shelves. They're really great looking shelves, but we're planning on adding on, and I'll show you how we're gonna add more shelves. So this is the floor currently, and you can see the walls look pretty dirty. Floor looks pretty dirty. I've actually only scrubbed the far side. You can see it's a little bit cleaner looking than over here, but it's pretty gross. And since I'm storing food in here long term, I just wanted to get it as clean as possible and then seal it with some good paint so that I don't have to worry about any bacteria or anything lingering in the space. But really nice high ceiling. I'm assuming it's an 8-foot ceiling. And then down at this end is one of the built-in shelves, which is pretty sweet, although you can see that they took out the 2 bottom shelves so that their dog could kind of lay on the bottom as a bed. So I do want space at the bottom for some 5-gallon buckets and things like that, some bigger items. So I do think that I'm gonna put a shelf back in here. It's a pretty cool construction how they have it, the 2x4 cut, and then it looks like 2x2s, or right about a 2x2 in there, and then plywood for the shelf. So I actually probably have some 2x2s in the garage right now, and I could easily get a shelf back up here. I think I have everything I need for that. And then I'll leave just the bottom one out still, so that I have room for bigger items on the back, or on the bottom. And then these shelves are all perfect height for quart jars. So I have plenty of room for quart jars, but anything larger than that, I'll only be able to store on the top, way up there, which I will need a stool to reach. So the lighting's not great in here, obviously. I just have one light up there with no shade or anything on it, so it's kind of the best I can do. This is the other side, and they've got a couple shelves taken out over there too, but I don't plan on putting the bottom ones in. I'm gonna leave it open for the big items. I bought some buckets right here at Lowe's. They're food grade buckets, and they're just under $5 a piece for the buckets and $1.88 for the lids, and then we get a military discount for my husband, so it's a little bit cheaper. But anyways, this is the other shelf. Lots of good storage, but I haven't cleaned over here, so you can see there's cobwebs and one more piece of old linoleum or whatever up there. And yeah, pretty sweet storage though. So on the floor here is where they had the divider, and a couple of the Tapcon screws or whatever that they were. A couple of them broke, the heads broke off, sticking maybe a quarter of an inch or so out. So I got the other one off. It was over right there. But this one was being a little bit stubborn and I couldn't get it off. So I'm gonna try, I think it's partially cut, and I'm hoping I can just hit it out the rest of the way with the hammer. And then there's several other holes where they were screwed in, and up the walls in a couple spots. So anyways, I've got some cement stuff that I'm gonna fix those cracks. And then right here along the edge, between where the cement was poured and the wall, clearly this was added on at some point in time. So I want to caulk that and have everything sealed before I paint. So the rest of the basement has been professionally water sealed. I don't know if it actually needed that, but so I just want this room to be clean and nice looking like out there. I paid 30 bucks for a can of paint. I'll show you what paint I'm gonna use, and I'm just gonna get this ready for some long-term food storage. So here are the products that I'm gonna use to fix the holes and cracks in the cement. I had this left over from another project, so I'm just going to use it. It's just a concrete patch. I'm using this silicone. It is for concrete, and I'm just going to use that for the crack along the side wall. Crazy enough, I bought the paint 2 days ago at Lowe's, and am just now noticing that I can't find it anywhere. Apparently it somehow did not make it home into my car and home to my house. So I've been looking and looking and can't find it anywhere. So apparently when we switched carts, we had so much stuff in our carts because we bought blinds and all sorts of electrical stuff. When we switched carts, apparently it either got left at the checkout or left in the other cart. I have no idea. But I called Lowe's and they looked for it, didn't find it, and said, just bring in your receipt and we'll get you hooked up with a new gallon of paint. So I actually have to run to Lowe's to get the paint that I'm going to use. But it is I'm using the Waterlock, I think it's called, Extreme, for basement walls, cinder block, cement, and that kind of thing. So I don't really necessarily need it to be water sealed. Because I don't think that this room, it doesn't show any signs that it's ever gotten moisture in here, but as any cement, it does hold and attract water and humidity down here. The shelves are built in, so I'm going to be painting around the shelves. So where the actual cinder block touches the 2x4 legs of the shelves isn't going to be water sealed, but I'm not really worried about that. I'm not really doing it to seal out water. I just want to seal out any contaminants that may be left down here from having dogs. I am going to go ahead. I got the broken screws out of the floor, and so I'm going to go ahead and put the caulk in and fix these holes so everything is prepped. Then I just have to finish cleaning the shelf over here behind me and do a little bit more prep, and hopefully then I will be ready to paint. I don't know if I'll be able to do my first coat today or not because I still have tons of work and chores and other projects that I'm doing, but I'm gonna try because I really want to get my pantry set up and get all the food. I have all the food sitting out here outside the door. I've got food in buckets and I got food up in my kitchen. We just moved in, and so everything isn't in its places, and we're doing a lot of fixing and stuff, minor fixes, but so we've got stuff kind of everywhere. All right, so I went ahead and caulked the crack on both sides of the wood there. This is wood where it was clearly the edge of when they poured this cement slab over here. So I went ahead and put the silicone on both sides of that from one shelf to the other as far as I could reach. So again, that's the stuff I used. And I went ahead and put it up the wall, kind of where the doorway wood meets the brick. It just wasn't sealed perfectly, so I went ahead and did that. And then I seen a couple other places I think I'll put it. So up here at the top, I think I'll just put a little bit in there, and maybe up here while I'm at it, since I have like a whole tube of caulking. I'm just looking for any kind of imperfection that I can fill to, you know, keep pests and stuff out, I suppose, and make it look nice before I paint. So then next I will go ahead and seal the floor. So here's that cement stuff, the concrete patch. It looks pretty good still. As you can see, I used most of it on cracks. I used it on the cracks of the basement floor in our last house before we put down new flooring. So that is what I'm going to use on the floor here. I did put caulk in that spot there on the wall, but it was kind of a pain to get it to stay in the hole. So yeah, for the floor and the rest of the holes I find on the wall, I'm just going to try this, even though I'm using this this thing. Hopefully it will work just fine. So and it doesn't have to be perfect. Kind of like my silicone lines, I didn't really care if they were straight and clean and perfect. And it is so hard to get a cement floor clean and dust free and all that, free of contaminants. It's next to impossible, especially when you have a dog, because it seems like it doesn't matter how much you sweep or how much you vacuum, there's always little remnants, little hairs flying around. As you can see, all he has to do is walk by once, and then there's new dog hairs. Yeah, this stuff works really good, and it's really easy to put on. And then if you want it really smooth, like if you're laying flooring over it, it's really easy to scrape and sand down so that it's smooth, which is nice. I did sand it a little. I used just my metal scraper and rubbed it over the edges, and that was plenty to make it smooth when I used it before. Alrighty, and one here. Get some more. I probably should have stirred it a little bit, but you know. Perfect. Okay. I know I have spots other places. I just have to look. Alright, So everything has been prepped and I am going to start painting with a brush, and this is the paint that I'm using. Thankfully Lowe's was super awesome and gave me another jug without charging me. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this open and I'm gonna start painting around the shelves first. And I'm gonna be using a brush for like 90% of this room, unfortunately, but I don't have a choice. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use a regular paintbrush and get started. All right, so this is what it looks like after one coat of paint. And I am about to start a second coat because, as you can tell, it's very splotchy still, and the floor still is quite thin. I actually ran out of paint, so I barely had enough to finish the floor there, but this is what it looks like. I did a little bit of taping on the shelves because this time I am going to go ahead and paint the legs of the shelves. So I wanted to kind of limit what I get on the shelf so I don't have quite as much cleanup later. I did have some help from the kids and they got some on the shelves, but that's okay because I am going to sand that and make that look nice because the bottom shelves are really dirty. But that's what it looks like so far. I'm going to start getting a second coat of paint up and we'll see what that looks like. Alright, so I've got the second coat of paint on, and wow, did that make a huge difference on the floor. But it also really makes noticeable, look at the difference in this color shelf and the bottom color shelf. That is clearly where the dog would lay. So, also down there. But it's looking way better. I can't wait to get over there and take the paint off, and next I will be working on these shelves. So I plan on sanding, getting all the paint and the rest of the yucky stuff off, and hopefully I can sand the bottom shelf, make it look clean and nice. But I'm just going to let this dry and go take a break. So one thing to keep in mind if you are doing a project like this in your pantry is that if you're working in a basement, like I am, the walls are cinder block, the floor is concrete. Keep in mind that probably like 90–95% of this paint job will be with a brush. So it is a long and tedious and very boring project. If you hate painting as much as I do, it's not fun. And it does take a long time, and it takes really a lot of paint to cover concrete, and especially the cinder blocks, because there's so many holes, so many pores in it, that it really takes a lot of time to fill all of those holes and a lot of paint to fill all those holes. So keep that in mind. I just wanted to add that, but I'm gonna go and relax and get cleaned up, get all this paint off of my hands. So hopefully tomorrow we will continue with the pantry and get those shelves looking cool, because I really can't wait. And I also have plans to change the light fixture in there, or to add a cage. I'm not exactly sure, but it's just a hanging bulb. You can't really see it right now because it's so bright in there, but I would need to find some sort of fixture. I don't like just the bare bulb hanging out like it is now. I'm afraid that I will eventually hit it and break it, and I don't want that. So anyways, I'm going to be looking into that, and yeah, so next time you see me, it's going to be the next day, hopefully, or the day after. We'll see, probably tomorrow. So alright, so I've been sanding this side, and I think that it is sufficient for me. I got the majority of the paint off, and they look clean and everything, so I just need to vacuum them and wipe them down with some vinegar or whatever, and I think that they'll look really good. So now I am on to the other side, and the dreaded, this is by far the worst of the worst. So I'm gonna start here and work my way up. The rest of the shelves are fine except for a little bit of paint, and what I'm using is this scraper. The angle really helps to scrape at the paint. I got this at Lowe's. So I'm scraping off the bigger chunks of paint and things that I can there. And then for the rest, I'm using using the sander a little bit, as minimal as possible, because I really don't like the dust in here. But I'm using this 80 grit currently, because these are the only two options that I have at home. So take a good look at it. Hopefully it looks totally different here in a second. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand that with the sander for a little bit, then with the hand, and we'll see what it looks like here in a second. All right, after a couple minutes with the sander, you can see that side is, I barely touched that side. I did go over the front a little bit, but this is the side I've been focusing on. Still looks really gross, but way better. I can deal with that. So taking a break, letting all the sawdust settle, and then I will continue to work. Okay, so I am officially done for now anyways. I still have to put in another shelf there, but that can wait. Shelves are clean, everything's clean, and I am going to start putting all of my stuff in here. I still want to fix the light switch pull and put a cage or something over the light. But all in all, it turned out pretty well. There's still some paint on the back there, but I figured there's gonna always be buckets and stuff here, so you're not gonna see that. And I didn't wanna mess up the paint hitting it with the sander. So, but look at the difference. Look at the difference in the wood. It looks great. There's still some paint here and there, but I gave up caring because it was so dusty and I couldn't, even with a mask on, it was just too much in this room to sand that long. So I said, it's clean, the rest is cosmetic, and I don't care anymore. But anyways, that's what I've got. That is how my pantry is looking. I'm super excited to put all of my stuff in here, all my supplies. I've got just a pile of random things that are gonna go in here. I'm gonna store my canner in here, both of my canners in here, and the meat grinder and all that stuff will hopefully be in here. So I'm super excited to have that stuff with a place to actually put it and store it. Our basement's not finished yet, so there is no door here. I do want to put a door here eventually when we finish the basement, but for now I think I'm going to put just a curtain to keep the light out when I'm not in here, just to keep the food, whatever food is in here, fresher longer. Also, like I said, I want to fix the light in here a little bit, either get a new fixture or just put on like a cage or something to protect the light bulb, and a little bit of a cuter pole, because right now it's got a shoelace as the pole cord. So I was thinking of what else I would put on there. If you have any ideas, let me know, because on Amazon you can buy pull chain, but you have to buy them in like multiples. There's no single pull chain, and I only need one. So anyways, I thought about making something that could go on there, but anyways, it's not really that important. The important part is that I have it clean and tidy and sanitary for all of my stuff to go in here. So that's what I'm excited about. And let's see, what else did I want to do? Oh, I have to put in that other shelf so that I have another shelf on that side. And, oh yeah, and I was debating whether I should put on little lips on the front of the shelf, you know, like, so that the cans can't slide off the front. but I don't think that I need to. If you have lips on your shelf, let me know, because I kind of think I don't really need it, because I've never known of a detrimental earthquake in Michigan, but I have lived through an earthquake in Montana before, so it was quite crazy, and definitely would have lost my canned goods there. So maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. That's a possibility that I put some sort of lip on the edge of the shelves. Yeah, I think that's about it. Other than that, I think the room is done. Follow me on Instagram, because if I do anything more to the pantry, I will be posting pictures of it there. That'll be where you'll find it. I post lots of pictures about my latest things and what I'm doing, and latest and greatest of whatever. But anyways, I guess that is it. I'm super happy that you guys watched the video, and if it's inspired you, then my goal is accomplished. I hope that this gave you some ideas for your pantry, and I hope you guys are having a very blessed year so far. All right, so thank you for stopping by, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.